What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down some very important numbers about Tesla and give you guys my forecast for the share price as the years go on based off car sales alone and not accounting for external factors, guys. It's going to be very important to know this so that you guys have a good understanding about what Tesla could produce and achieve in the years to come. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. And not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any could be a free Tesla share, a free Apple share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in 5 days, so check it out before they run out to get your free potential Tesla shares. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So when it comes to Tesla, guys, I want to remind you all of something. Okay, so many people are talking about how Tesla's going to crash. Tesla's a dead company, this and that. Look back at the chart. Look at the weekly time frame and look at this thing. If you account for the stock split, Tesla was a $1 company back in 2010. All right? This thing was worth 11 bucks a share back in 2013. As recent as 2020, all right? This thing fell all the way down to $23 a share. This thing was in the 11s back in 2019. And seeing this thing drop, right? We hit like 166. Tesla's hit low numbers. Its all-time high is over 400 bucks. I'm 100% confident that when you zoom out, the stock is still on an uptrend overall. Is Tesla slowing down a bit? Sure. Is this slowdown going to last forever? I don't think so. I believe Tesla will make a historic comeback. It just needs time. And what is some evidence, or what are some pieces of evidence of this potentially happening? Well, the correlation to make would be the growth in their overall sectors. Please remember that Tesla's earnings per share has been improving, at least for the most part. And we've also seen massive growth in profitability. Remember when Tesla was not a profitable company? They're getting way better numbers than they were before. You have to look at the past to remember that. You also have to remember their sales growth every single year is still looking very, very strong. Even if Tesla delivers like, I don't know, 1.4 million cars this year, maybe 1.3 million. It doesn't matter, guys. I'm not worried because you have to remember, okay, this year is going to be a little bit tough, especially ending this year. Next year is going to be a little bit tough, but once the market improves, once economies improve around the world, I'm confident Tesla's going to do way better and this company is going to go to the absolute moon. Now, for 2023, the market's likely going to experience an earnings recession. And I do believe that the stock market is so future looking that much of that is starting to be priced in already. However, it's worth noting that it may slow Tesla down to some degree, but I don't think it's going to make their numbers look that horrible once we actually see their deliveries and etc. In fact, there's a good chance that yes, there are going to be hardships entering a recession, but there's a good chance that Tesla could still report some very strong earnings. We could still see some good deliveries. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that and just 2023. I want to talk about some more growth estimates that have been perpetuating. Tesla's share price has reported over 50% growth almost every single year, except for like maybe this one because of what's going on during the overall market dropping, not to mention the results of the Fed raising rates and also many other macroeconomic factors. Now, when it comes to Tesla, I wanted to note something that's very important. Tesla is a very strong company. Let me actually report this first before I talk about the spreadsheet. Tesla's goal is to maybe have up to like 12 gigafactories produce 20 million electric cars per year by 2030. Now, I do believe that 2030 is very far away, very hard to forecast that, but I could actually try to give you guys just an idea of what the next 5 to 6 years could be like. All right. So Tesla may sell like 1.4 million cars this year, something like that. Revenue, 85 billion, earnings per share, maybe about $9. Really depends on many factors. It could be a little bit lower, but anyways, the stock price could be around $200 to close the year, maybe a little bit higher, but let's just estimate with the lowest possible value. Just for example, let's say Tesla's only around like 200, maybe even the 100s by the time we close this year. I'm not worried. I'm not scared because I look at the chart and I see a company that's going to explode. I see a company that's going to see insane growth, lots of deliveries, and many other bullish catalysts. Now, remember, I'm only going based off cars sold. This is just based off this factor. We're not accounting for AI because there's only so much I can say about that. We're not accounting for, other things that Tesla is developing, Tesla Energy, you know, the full self-driving technology. I'm not talking about that. Tesla Pilot. I'm mainly just talking about the amount of cars they sell, the amount of cars they deliver. So I could realistically tell you they should get at least 1.3 to 1.4 million this year, maybe even more. At least that many cars should be produced. I'm not too sure about deliveries though, because of what's going on with demand, with the used cars demand dropping. However, as the EV sector grows, all right, I believe Tesla's revenue is going to follow these numbers. I do believe Tesla could realistically see about over 2 million deliveries next year from the start to the end of next year because of the upgrades they're making. I also believe that the upgrades in Shanghai are going to be very important and kind of show us the future for what other gigafactories are likely going to do. And you could also see that the Giga Berlin is also working on increasing their production capabilities. Not to mention they're doing this in Fremont as well. So as they work on the systems, what they've been doing is they're taking a lot of these Chinese engineers. They're coming to Fremont, California, which is in the USA. They're coming to these places and working on development phases. They're working on production means, and I believe these numbers are very possible. Right? I do believe we're going to see over $100 billion in revenue. I do believe the earnings per share could go up, but it's a little bit hard to calculate this because it's dependent on outstanding shares and also other big factors. So I would take these with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty confident the revenue is still going to continue to increase and they will see more deliveries. Now, this in turn, let's just be kind of conservative. Tesla may only hit like $400 a share next year, maybe even less, who knows, because like I said, earnings recession is coming, but I don't think that the market's going to just continue to tumble down for that much longer. I don't think this bear market's going to last another 12 months. It does not make sense. Historically, bear markets last about 14 months on average, so we could be approaching the end of it over the next couple of months. But anyways, for Tesla, I do believe that this thing could see 400 a share pretty quickly again. And it's going to explode like crazy. And I say that because look at this growth. All right. In 2020 alone, when this thing squeezed, we went from 20 to 300 in a year. That's insane. In less than a year, actually. So yeah, this thing could run really hard, and we wouldn't even break all-time highs if we just hit 400. I still think this thing could do it as more and more investors will pile in, and shorts, in my opinion, will start to cover their positions once the market really, really improves. So, anyways, just to make this clear, I could see this thing hitting 400 a share quite easily by 2023, if not at least 300. That is still a big return on investment if you were to buy shares at the current share price. And this estimate comes from the proportion in the increase relative to these numbers. Because remember, Tesla reached 400 per share when they were delivering about a million cars per year, when fundamentals were not even as strong as they would be going forward. But the only thing slowing it down would be the recession. Let's just move a little bit ahead of that and talk about what I think is going to happen going forward. I believe 2024 to like 2027, these 4 years are going to be the big years for Tesla where they really, really are going to shine. The gigafactories are going to be much better. The economies around the world are going to be much better by this time. And I also believe that because demand is going to start increasing again, because a lot of economies will improve, more buyers are going to be stepping in, more people are likely to invest in the stock market, more people are going to buy into Tesla, more people will buy cars, and so on and so forth. I believe Tesla could easily break 3 million deliveries by this year. And I do believe they are going to unveil more of the gigafactories and maybe even more models by this time, more ideas to come out, and their revenue may be able to reach close to $200 billion That is very possible, or at least 180 billion. This would increase their earnings per share. Once again, I don't truly know. And my target would be at least $600. And this is a conservative estimate, guys, solely based off cars sold. This is not accounting for like Optimus and full self-driving technology, but at least 600. I could easily see that, easily by 2024, right? And the thing about that is that's a huge return on your investment. If you're buying these shares under 200, for instance, if you were to buy them for that cheap, imagine how much you'd make within 2 years, because 2024 is not that far away, guys. It's less than 2 years away. In 2 calendar years, or like 2 straight years, we're going to be near the end of 2024. It's not that far away. By 2025, 5 million cars could be sold. I could definitely see that if they do continue with the growth. And let's just assume that they really do achieve that. Well, more gigafactories are going to be needed. I do believe they have a plan in store for it. And I'm not going to bet against Elon Musk. When he sets a goal, I believe we're most likely going to see it at least come close to being met. This could cause revenue to reach over 300 billion, and that in turn could help the share price reach at least 900 per share. 900 per share, in my opinion. Crazy return compared to buying this thing in the hundreds or even like under 200, at least as of recent. For 2026, we can see 7.5 million cars sold, almost 500 billion in revenue, maybe a little bit less than that. And overall, guys, I can't say too much about margins and profitability and things like that. The level of profitability, there's only so much I can say because it's so many years in the future. It's very hard to tell. But the share price, Kathy Wood mentioned, and her calculation was this thing would be at about 1500. I want to just be a little bit more conservative and say maybe like at least 1200 based off cars sold alone. But if you account for AI and other things, maybe just maybe this thing goes to like 1500 plus by then. Think about how much growth that is compared to where you'd be buying Tesla like right now, or like very close to right now. For 2027, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually break past 10 million deliveries. That's very possible. 700 plus billion in revenue would be most likely the case. Share price easily hitting 1500 is what I would say by this year, maybe even higher, maybe like close to 1700 or so, right? But I like to be conservative. I do believe other factors can make this even higher. So please look at these as the bare minimums in a way, especially from like this year on. By 2028, and this is where like it becomes so crazy and so much harder to predict. I don't know how many more cars they deliver. I don't know if it's going to be like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. It's just so hard to tell. Nobody truly knows. But if they really want to meet this target of 20 million cars produced per year, which is very possible, all right, we should see something close to like 15 million by 2028. That would give them about 2 years to reach that 20 million target. And if not, even if they get like 13 million, that would still be fantastic, right? And they're going to need a lot more gigafactories. They're going to need a lot more employees. It's going to require a lot of work, but I would not bet against Tesla and Elon Musk. In that possibility, we could see revenue reach $1 trillion plus. That's insane. That's incredible. The share price would be a big reflection of these improvements. And if they're extremely profitable, extreme profitability could help the share price too. So let's just say my target is just from car sales alone, we hit like 1700 a share. All right. Once again, I'm not accounting for AI or other things, but remember, if we get like 1700, what if I'm off by $500? And I think I'm most likely not going to be that far off unless the share price is way higher than that. If it's in the 3000s, who knows? But anyways, let's just assume I'm off by $500. And this thing only goes to like 1200 or even like 2200, somewhere between this zone. Think about how it's only going to take, I don't know, 5.5 years, 5.5 years from now, or less than that, for us to get a little bit into 2028, less than 6 years away. And this thing should be at, in my opinion, well over 1500 per share, right? Think about the growth, think about the return. I'm going to make another video where I do calculate some potential returns people can make. And I'm not giving financial advice, by the way, but I just want to put it out there that the share price is often a reflection of the fundamental improvements and also the amount of buyers that step in anticipation of particular fundamental improvements because the market is so forward looking. Now, the current market is not moving solely based off fundamentals. It's preparing for shocks to come to this market due to the potential earnings recession. So this is not always the case. The stock market is, the prices are not always based off fundamentals, but for Tesla, historically, it tends to be that way, or at least fundamentals do play a big role, and the projected improvements to the company, the forecasts, they also play big roles. So during like this time frame, when Tesla was moving like this, a lot of this was based off like fundamentals, and we saw Tesla still show some very, very good consistent growth. I do believe this company is going to continue to be very explosive, and we could see some crazy, crazy high share prices. All right. So maybe I'm completely off for 2028 and this thing does not just go to 1700. Maybe it hits 3000, maybe 4000. Who knows? But the bottom line is I'm projecting insane growth as long as they keep up what they're doing. I'm still very bullish. And I look at the low share price we are seeing as an opportunity, a huge opportunity. All right. Thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.